The ideas expressed in City Club forums are those of the speakers and not of the City Club of Cleveland, IdeaStream Public Media, or their sponsors. Production and distribution of City Club forums on IdeaStream Public Media are made possible by PNC and the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, Incorporated.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland, where we are devoted to conversations of consequence that help democracy thrive. It's Friday, November 14th, and I'm Sean Watterson. I'm co-owner of the Happy Dog, hey, thank you, and board member of the National Independent Venue Association, community partner for this event, and chair of its Ohio chapter. Little on Neva. We were established during COVID, and we represent the live music and comedy venues, festivals, and promoters that are integral to the developing artist ecosystem. We have information out front. In Ohio, we generated over $1.5 billion in GDP in 2024, 20,000 jobs supported, over $950 million in wages and benefits, but 80% of independent venues in Ohio lost money in 2024. So, yeah, well, but that's why it's such an honor to introduce today's forum, featuring John Panza from the Panza Foundation, Patrick Carney from the Black Keys. From underground clubs to sold-out arenas, every musician and band that made it big started small. Some of them had humble beginnings right here in Northeast Ohio at places like Pat's in the Flats, RIP, Happy Dog, Grog Shop, and the Beachland, among many, many others. In his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction speech, Andre 3000 said, "Great things start in little rooms." The story of one of Akron's most successful bands and future Rock Hall inductee, the Black Keys, is no different, as anyone who saw them at the Beachland Tavern back in March of 2002 can attest. Together with bandmate Dan Auerbach, Pat Carney began recording in basements and touring in a 1994 Plymouth Grand Voyager. Ultimately, the band chose a similar minivan for the cover of their double platinum album, El Camino, which rose to number 2 on the Billboard album chart in 2011. It was a humorous nod to their humble beginnings and band van days. While the hustle and grind can seem like a rite of passage for rock bands, it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. John Panza and Jane at the Panza Foundation believe that even small amounts of assistance can have a profound effect on the artistic output and morale of independent artists. Established in 2014, the Panza Foundation aims to support local, independent musicians and bands, and during COVID, local venues, thank you, allowing those artists the freedom to pursue their craft with the best tools and opportunities possible. Today, we will dig into the Black Keys' journey to success and how we all can support musicians and the venues where they get their start in an increasingly difficult environment for the artist development ecosystem. Before we begin, a quick reminder for our live stream and radio audience. If you have a question during the Q&A portion of the forum, you can text it to 330-541-5794, and City Club staff will try and work it into the program. Now, members and friends of the City Club, please join me in welcoming John Panza and Pat Carney.
Can you hear me okay? All right. I was worried my beard was going to scrape this thing. And, so thanks for coming out. I'm just going to throw some questions at Patrick, and I want to start at the now. Like, what have you guys been up to the past year or two?
I guess, ever since 2020, we had a whole tour that got canned, and we made this record right before that happened called Delta Cream. And that came out in spring of 2021. And basically, it's from that moment till now, we just have been like working.
Relentlessly.
Yeah, kind of. Well, we that came out. We went right into Dan's studio and we started recording, and we made a record called Dropout Boogie. And while that was like still being mixed, we started what became Ohio Players. And while that was being mixed, we made another record, and we've been touring, and you know, and actually, you know, we're mixing something right now that's almost done. We're just constantly working, you know, and it's funny because like we're deep into the career. We're like almost 25 years in, and I still, at one point, like around 2019, I was like, this is kind of getting, like it's just getting a little plug and play.
Yeah.
Not the music, but like make a record, put it out, tour these same venues. And I was like, and I remember like getting really upset about it.
I remember you calling me about it.
And then I guess I got what I wished for.
Yeah.
Which is a much more interesting career lately. But I think, you know, post-COVID, like navigating the music industry is just a much different beast, especially the live music industry. Everything's kind of, you know, getting, you know, there's one company in particular buying everything.
Yeah. You can say the name.
Yeah, well, we know the name.
It begins with
yeah,
an
but
L.
I'm just, you know, it's like it's been pretty eye-opening especially the last 2 years for me, just to be like, what, you know, what a burden it is to have to deal with something like that. And you know, I mean, I don't know if we're supposed to talk about it, but we're doing a tour next year, and we're avoiding 100% that company, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, very difficult to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have a monopoly, so it's like, I mean, let's face it, they have a monopoly. There are conversations about breaking them up. There are conversations about, you know, what's appropriate, and bands can only do so much. Even a band like the Keys at your guys' level can only do so much. Also, you have to. What kind of decisions do you have to make if you want to do?
Well, you keep hearing musicians constantly from, you know, all stages of success or whatever talking about how touring is getting to be unprofitable.
Yeah.
The expenses of touring, you know, whatever, you know, a bus or whatever, you know, everything's gone way up threefold. But I think you get down to the core of this. There's this, you know, someone gave me a ticket from a concert we played in 2010, and it was at Central Park.
Yeah.
Their stage there, and the ticket was $37, and then there was a $5.70 ticket fee.
Right.
That same ticket now would have a $25 ticket fee.
Mm-hmm. And it would be $100. It would be.
I don't know what the ticket. I mean,
yeah.
There's this now made-up fee that just goes on top of the ticket that is just so like the fans are getting reamed, and then the money's just getting grabbed and not coming down. Yeah. So yeah, it's becoming a complete. It's a real problem.
Well, I know legislation was passed that said that they have to now tell you the fees ahead of time.
They do. So when you go buy a ticket for a Black Keys show or anybody's show, you say, "Oh, I want the $65 ticket," and then while you're checking out, then they'll say, "Okay, actually." It's a $40 ticket. Yeah. And there's $25.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's all messed up. If you look at like what this company I'm not naming share price is worth. I mean this is an interesting thing because the share price is up 600.
I said it.
600%.
Yeah.
Over the last 10 years. I mean that's on skew with like Meta and some of these tech companies.
Or Spotify. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean what's changed?
Nothing.
I mean, what has changed?
COVID.
And how it's scaled. Yeah. So it's a messed up thing.
So you guys are recording music at a much faster clip than you used to.
We used to always make music quickly, I think, but you know, Dan has a studio. He has two actually. I have a studio, and the thing
this is in Nashville, right? This is
in Nashville. We live. Yeah. But I think you know, Dan and we've been through a lot together. Mm-hmm. You know, and we've come out of the last 5-6 years, like, I mean, we talk every day. I see him 3 or 4 times a week when I'm in town. We were neighbors who kind of knew each other and started this band, and we've truly become best friends. So it's like when I'm home, I'm gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out, and ultimately we're gonna be making music.
And the implication is it wasn't always like that. There was a period, you guys, over the course of you've grown in your relationship with each other over the past 25, 26, 27 years.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's like, you know, we were friendly, you know, but we weren't like hanging out, and then we started this band, and all of a sudden.
A two-person band, mind you.
A two-person band.
Yeah, okay.
And now all of a sudden we're like in a 1994 Plymouth Grand Voyager, and we're, you know, spending weeks at a time.
Exactly.
With each other. So, I mean, we've always gotten along well, but I think, you know, it's like a band's interesting. The dynamic is incredible because you know, we had to learn how to make music together, and we had to like get to the uncomfortable situations where it's like, how do you tell someone that their idea could be better? Mm-hmm. You know, and once you get, you know, that's early on, and then we got that kind of dialed, and then it was like, well, how do we get a third person in the room? And
exactly.
And
you're a producer, for instance.
Producer, and we luckily, you know, worked with Danger Mouse for a number of albums, and he taught us so much about making music, about the creative process of how you discuss, like, you know, if someone has an idea how you can make it better. But I think at this point, you know, and then also on top of all this, we went through this thing where we went from, you know, starting our first show at the Beachland, and in a number of years, we're playing Madison Square Garden, and that will really do a head trip to you.
Yeah.
And it did for us.
From 50 to 15,000.
Yeah.
Just like, or 12,000 at Madison Square.
You know, because it's like, it's terrifying, and it's exciting, and there's a lot of ego and stuff that comes out, and
and people start arriving that weren't there before.
And you know, we went through this, and we went to the point where at our peak we were like, I mean, in 2015 we headlined this festival, Outside Lands, maybe like 70,000 people, and you know, we got paid $1 million, and we were like, we're not booking any more shows. And I remember that day going back in time to 2003. We were opening for Cedar Kinney, and they were playing the Roseland Ballroom in New York City, and we saw what their guarantee was. It was like $50,000, and I was like,
in 2003, $50,000.
Yeah, and I told Dan, I was like, I don't care if you hate me. If we ever make $50,000 a show, you still gotta get on stage. But anyway, here we are in 2015. We had just burned out. We had lost the ability to communicate well. Yeah. I think we were just grinding, and you know.
And that was a decade of grinding at that point. A little more than a decade of grinding at that point.
A little bit more than that, but you know, ultimately, we took this break. We didn't like break the band up, but we just took a break, which we found out, you know, that most bands do that every album.
Every album, yeah.
Take away.
I mean, I didn't want to have to tell you that.
Yeah. So we took a normal.
Every 3 years for most. We have to put this in perspective. Most major bands, like every 3 years probably for an album, maybe 4, depending. But you guys were album, pretty consistently.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, we took some time off, and we literally didn't speak for like a year, and then we started hanging out a little bit. And when we kind of figured out how to get it how we wanted it again, it's just been steadily getting better and better for us. And I think like actually the COVID break was like we had just started we had just made a record, just toured, and we had this break. And I think ultimately it was a really good thing for us because it was like it kept it from becoming a burden. So like now actually when we go do it, it's like it feels more like the old days. Like,
so like 5 years on, then a couple years off for COVID, and then back at it again.
And just not stopping now.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I think we've figured out a lot of stuff. We've been through a lot of stuff.
What do you consider to be your? I mean, people mention Rock Hall, and you guys are. I mean, obviously, you guys will be nominated. There's no doubt about it for the Rock Hall, and you qualify after 25 years after your first. So it'd be 27, right? It'd be 2027. If we're looking, I mean, we're going to back up and start talking about the beginning a little bit, but I just want to know your opinion about that. Have you ever been to the Rock Hall, Patrick? And I know the answer.
I've been to the lobby to see my uncle play. But it's not because I don't know, my dad, when it opened, my dad who was here, we never went, which I think is very And he's the one that introduced me to music in the first place and got me going deep into being obsessed with it. But I've never actually been inside of the museum. I want to go, but now I'm like, maybe I should wait like 5, 10 years.
You might wait.
Yeah.
It'd be really wonderful. Your first appearance at the Rock Hall would be literally getting in.
But then we'll end up getting in like 40 years from now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
We got to induct Steve Miller into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then we didn't realize there was a little bit of politics there.
Oh yeah.
Because one of the founders of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was boys with him back in the day, and then they didn't put him in until 2016.
Yep.
And so
he wasn't happy.
He wasn't pleased. And the fact that I didn't graduate, I did not graduate college. I'm not very good at writing. I contributed one line to this induction speech, which was, I looked on Wikipedia that he was born in Milwaukee, so I said, there's been a lot of Millers made in Milwaukee, but only one Steve Miller. And
That's good.
And he didn't like it.
No. You should have mentioned the robot Fonzie, and that would have been better, So let me ask you this. So backing up, talk a bit about that first show at the Beachland, because that was your first gig, like the first show. Like you.
So I just go back a little further. The band started because Dan and I, our brothers were best friends, and we grew up in the same neighborhood, like a couple houses from each other. And Dan's like a year older, and he was always, kind of quiet, stoner, hippie soccer guy, and I was more, I don't know, indie rock nerd or something. And I found out Dan was playing music. My brother's like, you should play music with Dan. I was like, I didn't realize he played music. And he came down one day with his guitar, and I was like, this guy can actually play guitar. And it's like, we would make these demo tapes, and we would, kind of get together and play. And this was in the late 90s. And then essentially, we ended up, he had this bar band, and I had just bought this little recorder, and I was like, I'll record your band if you want. Come over to this punk rock house I was living in. And so he showed up, and the rest of the guys in his band, it was like a covers bar band. Yeah. They didn't show up, so he's like, you should just play drums like you used to. And we recorded this little demo in a couple hours. This is right around 9/11 in 2001. And then I gave it to him a couple days later, and he's like, we should just start a band. And instantly, I knew we should call it the Black Keys because of this family friend of ours who was an artist who would leave these messages on our machine, asking our fathers for crayons and stuff, and he would call everybody Black Keys, D flats. So anyway, we make this thing, and we send it off, and we end up getting this little record deal from this company in LA, and we if you send us a record, a finished album, we'll put it out, and so we did that. We dropped out of college, and we made this record in my basement in February of 2002, and then we sent it off to them, and the guy that runs the label, this guy Patrick, this French guy, was like, now you need to play concerts, you need to play shows. And I was like, so Dan, I think either Dan took it up to the Beachland, or there was a show being thrown by Jamie Stillman or something.
Probably Jamie Stillman, yeah.
Yeah, but
he's the owner of Earthquaker Devices, but he's local legend, Akron legend.
Yeah, and his girlfriend at the time, who now runs it, Julie, was booking bands. So I don't remember, but we ended up at the Beachland, and we played the Beachland Ballroom. It's our first show, first out of 4 on Easter Sunday.
In the tavern, yeah.
Yeah, in the tavern. And we were so nervous. I remember coming off stage, and our 30-minute set had lasted 22 minutes. We just But Mark and Cindy were there, and you guys were really good. And Mark's like, I can give you a show in 2 weeks. April 15th was my birthday. It was a Monday opening for the Dan Melchior review. So we went back up and we played, and this time no one was there. The first show there was maybe 10 people. But they were so encouraging that, and they were like, you should start trying to get some shows. Because we were trying to avoid, we didn't want to be a local band.
Yeah.
So they helped us get shows at the Logger House and Mickey Finn's in Toledo.
Yep.
And ultimately, we ended up getting this mercenary booking agent through our record label, who basically just sent us this cryptic email one day, here's your tour, and it was one page, and it was right, how are we going to do this? We have to drive to Denver.
And that was
Portland.
was that a 3-weeker?
It was 3 weeks, and the guarantees were like $50 or.
Yeah.
It was like $50, and
Oh, don't worry, gas was only $3. You know.
it was like a two drink ticket.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is still the going rate. 50. But that's not. I'm not joking. By the way, $50 and 2 drink tickets. Any musicians in the room? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we know. Hi, Raven.
We were. I mean, I didn't even. I don't think I had like maybe 3 beers the whole tour because I was driving after.
Yeah,
Because
exactly,
we
yeah.
couldn't afford hotel rooms. We just drive
Yeah.
all night.
You end
after
up
the show.
showing up with all these old drink tickets in your pocket at the end of the.
I was doing trucker speed. But I was Yellow Jackets, but that's the only way I could do it. But I came home from that tour. I laid down in bed just shaking. I was like, "What's wrong?"
You're like,
with
what the hell just happened?
I was like, "Oh, it's the bumblebees." I've been taking." But on that tour, the very last show of that tour was was in Chicago, and Mark and Cindy had arranged for a booking agent who they worked with to come out and see us, Botch, who ran a company called Billions.
Yeah.
So on this tour that we left, you know, I forgot to mention, when we go around and that no one's coming to the shows really, but when we get to Seattle, we had like a little write-up by the woman that became Chuck Klosterman's wife.
Okay.
And so we have a write-up, and now we play a show, and there's like 150 people there.
Right.
And we made like $540
Yeah.
instead of $50. And I was like, we can afford to get home now.
Yeah.
And I was like, and maybe people are interested.
Maybe.
But then we get to LA, and Epitaph Records comes out, and
Oh boy.
we start things. You know, there's just enough encouragement that like this could actually end up working. And
Yeah.
we ended up meeting the guys from Fat Possum, the label we ended up
Right.
signing to on that trip. And then the last show, we're in Chicago, and Botch comes out, and thanks to Cindy and Mark, and we come home from that with labels, bigger labels wanting us, and a booking agent. And not just a booking agent who booked my favorite bands growing up, like Pavement and John Spencer Blues Explosion.
Yeah. Chicago was quite an epicenter at that time for a lot of these bands and they were, you know, labels and agents and everything else and stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the origin story pretty much summed up.
Yeah. So when you
Well,
think,
I mean, without Mark and Cindy, and you know, this is the honest to God truth. I mean,
yeah.
that set us well on our way. And then furthermore, like within a couple of weeks of that, they had Steve Popovic and Seymour Stein coming to the shows, and there's something happening, you know.
Yeah.
We ended up signing rather than sign with Sire, we signed with a label in Mississippi, which essentially, you know, we just like agreed to go stay in the minor leagues for a few years, which was good.
Yeah.
Because by the time we ended up going to a major label, we signed to a small subsidiary of Warner, and we were able to kind of still make records in our basement.
Yeah,
and it was at our own kind of like frustration after 5 albums of doing that we were like, maybe it's us, not them. Maybe we should try this a little differently. And it just so happened at that kind of moment, this producer had reached out to us, Danger Mouse, who at the time had the biggest song in the world, Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. Yeah. So he's experiencing this high level of success, and he wants us to help him write an Ike Turner comeback album. So we
I mean, why not?
Why not?
It's like,
so anyway, we start doing that, and it's a slow process. And you know, at this time, we're putting out a record every year, and so we've been working on this for a few months, and we haven't even got one track finished. So I flew to LA to meet with Danger Mouse, and I met him for a drink, and I was like, and I didn't even tell Dan I was doing this. I was like, will you just produce a record for us with these songs, and we'll do the Ike stuff later? And he said, sure. So then I was like, Dan, like, did something.
I might have done something.
He's like, are you cool with that? He's like, yeah, sure. So then we make a record with him, and we learn so much. We do it at Suma in Painesville. And,
Suma.
And that was
recently reopened Suma.
with Paul Hamann, and that was a kind of a turning point, because when that record came out, I remember we were on our first tour bus that we've ever had, 6 years into touring them. So I'm like we had a day off. I woke up in like Rock Springs, Wyoming. Don't go there, ever. And our tour manager is like, you have the number 14 album on the Billboard charts.
Yep.
And I was like, and which I guess sounds insignificant now, but to me, I was like, what? What?
Yeah.
30,000 people bought the album this week. And then it was like, that was like the beginning of, there's something going on. And even then, you have this whole thing, the dynamic in a band, like this is the reason why I'm interested in making music, because it's collaborative, and part of that collaboration and stuff is having to deal with a lot of BS and ego and all kinds of stuff and getting through stuff together. And so 6 months after this album comes out, I find out that Dan's going to release a solo album.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh man, like I might have just lost my job. And so I have to be supportive, but I might not have a job. And on top of that, all the money I just earned this year, I thought I was doing a responsible thing, and I put it in mutual funds.
Oh.
And then the market tanked, and I was like,
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. But anyway, Dan did a solo record, and I realized like, he just need to get that out of the system, and I do need the support of him. He's not obligated to just make music with me, so there's like a lot of learning happening, and then we end up, going in the studio. We make this hip hop record called Black Rock that we put out like independently, but it was so much fun to make this thing that we were like, now okay, the making music together is fun. That we then instantly, within a week, we finished that record, and we went to Muscle Shoals, and we ended up making our first like hit album, and then that was just the beginning of the grind.
Just it right there.
For the next 5 years, 6 years, it was just.
So when you think about early Black Keys, you're getting played in the radio. This is pre-Spotify. This is still during the early stages of downloading. Talk a bit about what it was like when you heard your first song on the radio, whether it was locally. I mean, obviously, you guys got a fair amount of local play. Talk a bit about what it was like, doing that. Like, what did it feel like hearing your stuff out there? Whether now it's in commercials and stuff. I mean,
the first time I heard one of our songs on the radio outside of BBC or something, which is, a whole different component, because we were getting BBC play from John Peel way early on.
He loved you guys. Yeah.
I think it was like University of California, Chico. We're like driving through Eureka, and like I'm probably on trucker speed, and and I'm going through and I hear one of our songs cutting through, and I'm like, what? And I woke Dan up. I was like, do you hear that? And he's like, weird. Yeah. I was like, very weird. And I put it back on Art Bell. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, but early on, a lot of the promo stuff that we would do, we would be going to college radio stations, and a lot of the all of the support we got early on for radio was public and community radio, like the Current in Minneapolis, or I'm not sure which college it was, one of the many in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then KCRW, KEXP.
KEXP, yeah.
And then there was a great one, I don't know if it's still around, there was a great one in Denver, an AM station that was incredible. But, before we started the band, my girlfriend went to Oberlin, and I was the townie that was hanging out at Oberlin. But she had a radio show from like 3 to 6 a.m. on Wednesday nights, and I would drive up and just to go through the records in there. What a resource.
Yeah. You guys get along. You've had to, in your touring recently, you've added stage musicians.
We added those guys after we made our record Brothers.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when we made this record, Attack and Release, the first record we made with Danger Mouse, the idea was like, let's not just approach it like we're a two-piece band.
Right.
Let's try to.
You have to level up a little bit because you're playing larger venues and you're also touring.
The two-piece
more.
thing was out of necessity.
Yeah.
Initially, we were a three-piece. Actually, we had my friend Gabe in the band. He was playing a Moog synthesizer, but he quit the band essentially, and we tried to replace him. We had like Doug from the Beach Thing come down, a few people come down, and it was like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
Like, it's just gonna be the two of us, and it was probably the smartest thing we ever did. But you know, now if you ask me now what the most important component of a song is, I would say it's the bass.
The bass, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you guys didn't have initially.
Which we didn't have.
Yeah, yeah.
And most music I listen to, I would say that that's the most biggest one. So now we want to make a record that really didn't just have a bass guitar following the guitar. You know? So we eventually, when we made Brothers, it was like the songs were written like because the black rock hip hop record, when we made that, we were writing all the songs bass and drums.
Exactly.
So we made Brothers the same way, bass first with the drums, and we had to tour. So our first time ever playing with a 4-piece band was at Madison Square Garden, opening for Pearl Jam. Yeah, we could have probably done that differently.
On that note, I have to read something really quick. We'll get back to Pearl Jam. This is the mid-form. I'm supposed to read this. In a minute or two, we're going to be beginning the audience Q&A. And for those just joining via our live streaming radio audience, I'm John Panza, president of Panza Foundation and moderator for today's forum. I didn't write this, by the way, it's written for me. I'm joined on stage by Patrick Carney with the Black Keys, talking about his band's journey to success and what it will take to support musicians in today's entertainment industry. We welcome questions from everyone, City Club members, guests, students, and those joining via our live stream at cityclub.org or live broadcast at 89.7 WKSU Idea Stream Public Media. If you'd like to text a question, please text it to 330-541-5794. That's 330-541-5794. And the City Club staff will try to work into the program. And before I ask, do we have any questions? I have one more question for you.
Okay.
So, where are you in 10 years? Knowing where you started and, you know, beginning in this small club and working your way through, in an ideal world, musically speaking, where are you in 10 years?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that because I think the music industry has just changed so much in the last 10 years and the previous 10 years. And I think that the kind of goalposts, the markers of success have all moved. At one point, like we had, like getting the #1 album was like for some reason an important goal.
Yeah.
Because we had like a #3, #2. And now I don't value that. I don't value it at all. I don't think it means anything. I think the most important goal marker is a loyal fan base in music that resonates, whether that's playing to 200 people or 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And so like those are the careers I look at, you know, like people who have also managed to you know, stay creative and keep things moving along. And so yeah, I don't know. I think that my goal is like, you know, the goal with Dan and I is like to feel creative and feel like we're having fun, but it's always a grind.
Yes.
It's always hard work. And I think, you know, if you're willing to do the work, it means you care enough about it that it's going to be worthwhile. And so I like that back in 2019 when I felt like we were going to the money printing factory versus, you know, that's when I was like the lowest about like where we're at. And now it's like, I think that's the true goals is just, you know, and it's like not even relevancy isn't even the goal because that's out of your control.
Yeah. Well, you two guys who write swamp blues, so relevancy is something that's, I mean, you guys from the very start chose a genre that in and of itself is not necessarily mainstreamy in any real way. I mean, not at the time, especially.
I'm listening to my playlist is psychotic. But I think, you know, that's the fun part is like when we do get in the studio, it's like we will find some common language of what we're into and it'll be like a whole goal and maybe it will resonate, maybe it won't. But, you know, I think like back on like the peak of our career, it's more like, I'm like, a lot of musicians I think get caught in the trappings of like, I need to repeat that rather than be like, I can't believe that happened. That's cool. You know, there was a moment where that stuff was resonating, and now, you know, it's different. And I think, you know, culturally, I see something happening that I think is really disturbing, which is, you know, I read somewhere that more music is released every day commercially now than in the whole year of 1989.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think is really disturbing is that I just read like 3 or 4 songs in the last year have broken records for the longest time spent in the top 100 and in the top 10. So if you have more music coming out than ever, and the cycle that's spinning out the new music is getting frozen, you're getting exposed to such a small amount of it, that I think that culturally it's just so disturbing.
Yeah.
And I think that goes beyond music. You know, people get caught in the news cycle or whatever it is, and they're missing, like, while you're talking about this president guy, there have been forming monopolies all around you and buying media and narrowing everything that you're seeing, and you're talking about this one stupid thing, and everybody's getting screwed. And the price of stuff is up, inflation's up. It's like a little bit scary. And then you have people saying, like, don't worry, soon AI is going to get rid of like all these jobs, but don't worry, we have plenty of TV shows for you to watch. There's a lot of music. And there's a lot of music that you haven't heard yet because we haven't been sharing it with you. We've been stockpiling it.
On that note, we're going to move to questions.
Did I go off the rails there?
No. There really are no rails. So we'll move to questions. I believe that there are microphones available on either side. Please stand up and go to the microphone, and I think we go back and forth. And
Pat, love your music. I'm curious about the logistics of touring. How do you decide which cities to tour, to go to, leaving aside the Live Nations issue that you discussed?
Well, depending on, you know, if like the tour we're doing next year, it was based on what cities we played this year. But typically, you know, I mean, typically the way it works is your agent goes and solicits offers to see who wants you the most, and that's where the tour starts getting built around that. I mean, because you know, there's a lot of cities that we end up kind of scooting over because the offers just aren't there. But that's essentially it. You know, your agent kind of figures out where that is, and you can do a little, like if you're Bob Dylan or Tom Waits, you can get really picky and choosy. And sometimes we'll specifically want to route something into a tour, you know. So that's.
And if I could just have a quick follow-up, how active is Cleveland in terms of soliciting interest from bands like you to come play here?
No, I mean, I think Cleveland's always on our tours, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer that, but yeah, I mean, you know, we always try to, the Midwest is kind of our honey hole.
I got a question about the early album artwork. I myself am a graphic designer. I'm here with my brother, I'm always collaborating with. You're starting off young, you don't know what you're doing. You got a brother who's doing graphic design, he doesn't know what he's doing. You guys both rose to like such great success really early on. Just a little bit about what that relationship was like working with your brother and each finding each other's groove.
Yeah, good question. Well, the first album, my brother took the photographs, and then we sent them to the label who the guy wanted to lay it out. And this was kind of the beginning, you know, of something where he laid it out, but he chose the wrong font or something. There was something, and so he did part of the layout, and then my brother, you know, he was like, I don't think it looks good, so he scanned like Dark Side of the Moon vinyl jacket in to put some wear on it. But that was the first time we made an album together, and at that point we're like, well, we should just do. That's when we got like, you know, we were DIY musically, but then we're like, we should just do everything. So for the second record, which was called Thick Freakness, we put it out on Fat Possum, and we wanted it to come out in spring, and Fat Possum said, if you want this out, we need everything artwork by December 7th. So it was like December 5th, and we had no idea. And my brother and I got in my car and drove to Kmart at like 1 in the morning. And we're just walking through Kmart like, we need a concept. And then I saw the Royal Crown hair pomade.
oh yeah.
And I think we could do something with this. And Mike's like, yeah, we could do something with that. So we went right back to my apartment, and he lit it and shot my hand in it.
That's your hand in the picture.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so it was kind of always like that, you know, like you know.
The Brothers cover has gone down in history as like one of the most interesting album covers for the fact that it just says.
Well, it's an homage to the cadet concept releases of a Muddy Waters record and a Howlin' Wolf record, but that one we were struggling to figure out that record. It's another deal where it was like it was due, and then like the day before it's due, he just sent us the text only, and we're like, there we go.
Just says this is.
And he won a Grammy for it.
He won a Grammy, exactly. Yeah, the Grammy for a bunch.
Yeah.
It's just literally words.
Yeah.
Next question. Yeah.
Just wondering about the festival experience. You mentioned the one where you made $1 million and that was good enough.
Yeah.
But talk about how that's morphed over the years in the music business. Thanks.
No, the point of mentioning that was just that, you know, at a point where we're, you know, getting paid, you know, a crazy amount of money, we were still so fried that we were ready to walk away from it. But I mean, you know, I mean, I don't really understand the question, but I guess I'll say like this summer. I mean, like, you know, the crowd kind of makes the show, you know, and it's like, and furthermore, the dynamic within the band makes the show. So if Dan and I are in a good place together and we get in front of a horrible crowd, it doesn't really matter. But if we get in front of a great crowd, then it's remarkable. This year we played Europe. We did a European tour, and we had some amazing crowds. And it was a grueling grind to be on a bus for a month straight at 45 years old.
With the family.
Well, also there's like, I mean, there's no hotel rooms. We're like in porta potties for a month. It's like, it's insane. It's like Boy Scout camp. It's literally crazy. And our days off, we're all in like cities that, you know, the only tourists there were lost.
Yeah.
But we had a great time, you know. And so when it comes to, I love playing festivals, especially ones that have good crowds. The Europeans seem to come out in a way that's just unbelievable. And I think the best 2 shows of the whole year for us. I mean, Blossom was great, but we played a show in Valencia, Spain, and we went on at 1 in the morning, and it was like 40,000 people who couldn't afford the beer there, freaking out for an hour and a half, and it was incredible. Yeah.
On trucker speed.
I don't know what they were on, but they weren't on the beer.
They weren't on beer.
Too expensive.
Yes, I want to talk about something fun, and that is your videos. Seem to show a really great sense of humor that you have. You know, that Wild Child video cracks me up still today. Yeah. Maybe it's because both my parents are teachers, but if you could talk about making videos and what you think about them.
Yeah, videos are always kind of a burden. I don't think it's a good format. I have little kids, so I'm like, let me show you some music videos, and I was like, wait, these are all horrible. Like, there's a couple that are fine, but I mean, I'm like, this is really funny that this was like the whole.
Even you guys appearing in a music video is pretty rare. I mean, it's. I don't want to say you're dragged to it, but I mean, do you enjoy being in a music video?
No, but
I knew the answer to that already.
I mean, our most successful music video that we ever made was for a song called "Lonely Boy," and we hired Bob Dylan's son, Jesse Dylan, to direct it, and it was starring Bob Odenkirk, and we shot this video for 2 days, and then we got the cut of it, and I was like, I don't think this is very good. And then there was a scene where there was a guy who just ad-libbed the dance, and somehow he had memorized the words to the whole song on hearing it one time.
The older guy too, like just like
He was probably 40 at the time.
Older guys. Yeah.
Derek Tuggle's his name. Anyway, he danced, and let's just use that.
Yeah, the whole video is him dancing.
Let's just use that. Yeah. And I swear, like, we did get pushback for wanting to do that. Certain people say that there was no pushback, but there was. And so then it came out, and it was our most successful video. And so we spent $80,000 making this video, and we could have just made it for like $300.
$300. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so the Wild Child video is another one of those where Dan's like, we should make a video. And I was like, we can make one more high-budget video as an experiment just to see. And I was like, so we did, and then no one watched it. So we won't probably ever be doing that again.
Go ahead.
Hi, Patrick, this is more an offer. I'm with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's never too late to come visit us.
Oh, right.
Hey, by the way, I heard if you're in a band, this is true. If you're on tour and you're in a band, just bring an album, Bring an album, they let you in for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you
One
bring-
day, I look forward to going through it one day. I heard that about Hard Rock Cafe. They'll give you a cheeseburger if you're in a
Yeah,
band.
if you're in a band and tour, they give you a cheeseburger. Yeah. And 2 drink tickets. Yeah, go ahead.
I love pictures of you guys browsing in record stores because very relatable. You talked about Danger Mouse producing you and how important that was for your growth as an artist. You both produce for other artists. Do you get the same thrill working for somebody else as you do recording your own stuff?
Good question. Yeah, I think I used to produce more. I've made records for my wife and for different bands I'm fans of. And I used to even have a label back in the day. But I kind of got turned off of it because I think, it's so hard to kind of break through in the music world that I would just get so let down if I made something I thought was good and it went nowhere. And also there's a little bit of like, kind of feel like I'm toying with like I don't want to have my hands involved in someone else's dreams too much. I'm happy to do it with my own stuff, but like let someone who doesn't mind tinkering there.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, but I do love producing. I have a studio at my house, but I mostly, I get enough fulfillment working on the key stuff, and occasionally Dan will have me work on some. He has a label called Easy Eye, and he'll have me come in and help do some mixing or something, and so him and I are very collaborative. So I feel like we're just putting the wraps on our 14th album, so it's like not including Black Rock. So it's like that's a lot of albums. That's more albums than like Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And The Who.
Yeah, and The Who. Yeah.
And Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
It's a lot of albums. So I'm pretty good on that.
Their albums are longer.
Their albums are technically and better, but it doesn't matter.
Well, they're longer.
They're better, make more money.
Yeah, that's true. They do. Please.
So what makes a concert audience a great audience for you on stage?
Well, there's something that's been happening, especially at shows that are kind of maybe put together by a company that
Certain company.
I haven't named.
Live Nation.
If you fill the front of the room with the richest people, I mean, maybe except here, but I don't think that makes a very good concert experience in that sense of what's happening in a lot of these things where like the reserved seats, there's a guy
First 15 rows or whatever.
Yeah, there's a
20
dude and
rows.
his girlfriend's texting the whole time.
Yeah.
Or
Or they have their backs to the stage and they're doing one of these things trying to get.
I don't know. I think, especially if you go to England, the mere fact that they have BBC 6 nationally and BBC 2.
Yep.
I mean, they're playlisting a lot of varied music. You have
Jules Holland.
I mean, look, I've been really into record collecting lately. I mean, I always have been, but I've been way into it lately, especially 45s. And if you want to buy a good 45, it's almost always coming from Europe. Yeah. And I'm like, how is all of the good music? It's all American music.
It's American music over there.
It's over there.
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on? You ask yourself that because they're really exposed to a much deeper thing. So the fans there are kind of, I don't know. I think the fans have a much deeper understanding of music.
And a broader enjoyment of music too. Like genre for them over in Europe is a very different thing than genre is here in the United States, where I think we're a little siloed and everything, and they're a little broader.
Yeah, I mean,
I think of the festivals over in Europe quite often are just these bizarre, wonderful amalgams of.
Well, I was over there when Taylor Swift was touring, and it wasn't the same thing. It wasn't like this is the greatest. It was all Americans going over there, actually.
Yeah. Oh.
Like in Paris, and the tickets were cheaper.
Yeah, that's.
It was cheaper to
some
fly.
people found it, to fly there and actually see. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
Hi, so my name is Unity, as John knows. The Panza Foundation sponsored me about 2 years ago. So I just have a quick question. So now that we're in the age of streaming AI and almost overwhelmingly accessible music at the tip of our fingers, one thing I can say as an independent musician is that the industry has changed drastically. Independent musicians aren't making as much money, especially from streaming, and things have shifted to surviving off of touring, merch sales, and local community support. Thanks, John. DIY is the spirit of the streets and the youth, yet payment can be dicey, especially if you don't have gear insurance. And guarantees from venues are negotiable if you have the proper representation. So my question for you is, what is the advice for smaller independent musicians for finding booking agencies for the US and Europe?
Yeah, I think, you know, I mean, the best policy is to get out there and play and start getting people to come around locally. But, you know, I think, you know, you have the ability to have your music heard nationally or internationally now by a click of a button. It's a matter of like this question of how to get people to pay attention and listen to it. Like some people tell you to go dance on TikTok. I'm not capable of that. I'm not capable of much of the social media stuff. I have a hard enough time being in a music video that I don't really know the answer to it. You know, I think it used to be. I said this the other day, and someone was really offended by this, but I think that like, and I'm not talking about Pitchfork or something, but like a gate-kept industry slightly, where it's like back when in the '90s, if I got like the Touch and Go catalog, anything on there I'd want to listen to. Yeah. It was, you know, curated for me. And now the curation's it's just a mess. I don't know what is going on. But music is, you know, if you ask, I get asked this all the time, what new artists are you listening to? It's like a song here, a song there. There's not really that many albums. I'm listening to, I have the attention span of an ant, just like everybody else. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm listening to. But like, I will go, you know, I find myself getting into music that came out like, whether it was 20 years ago, 50 years ago, like, and I will have never heard it. And like, how did I never hear like Psychic TV or whatever? Like, how I'm like 45 years late to this thing. That's the beauty of music. As far as being a new artist and stuff, I don't really feel qualified to even answer it. I don't even know how to get our music heard. I don't even know how that works. You know, so it's like we luckily have a fan base, and I think that like. You know, hopefully the music you make resonates with them. But, you know, our biggest things that happened to us that let us kind of get through was John Peel playing us on the BBC, Sleater Kinney taking us out on tour, Mark and Cindy helping us meet booking agents, Beck taking us on tour. You know, and how they heard the music, record stores. Yeah, they buy records. Record store clerk. Yeah, that was the best thing. It might still be the best thing.
And just track the people you like, find out who books them. I mean, find out who books the people you like over in Europe, and if you see American bands heading over, find out who books them. Cold call them. Cold call them.
I also think a booking agent. I also think a booking agent is a necessary solution. I mean, it's
a start, but it's
well, not. I mean, you have to be ready for the work because, like, when we first got our booking agent, it was like, "This is going to be awesome." Like, okay, here's your first show. You're opening for the Pie Tasters. Who are they? Ska band.
Ska band.
Where's the show? In Brooklyn. Great. What day? Monday night. You go on at 8. Yeah. We drove 8 hours to Brooklyn to open for a ska band at 8 on a Monday night to 10 people. That's our first legit show booked by booking agent.
Yeah.
So.
Don't do that.
We did it a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But we kept going. We're like, you're going to open for Reverend Horton.
Eventually, you'll move beyond ska.
We drove 8 hours each way to open for Reverend Horton Heat in Champaign, Illinois. And the first note, I hit the kick drum pedal and it just smashed. It's destroyed.
It's disintegrated.
And Dan's like, what? Dude. So now I play like a Mo Tucker beat the whole time. That, you know, that's the early, that was happening a lot.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Got a big foot.
Yes. Or I had a cheap pedal, is what it was.
Yes, Cindy.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey.
I just want to add to the controversy and get you to tell us, how did you guys have the audacity to fire Irving Azoff?
You knew she was going to ask that.
Yeah. Well, let's just say no comment. All right.
really not expecting you to just say no comment and then literally have no comment. Well, Patrick Carney, John Panza, thank you so much for joining us at the City Club today. I'm Dan Moulthrop, Chief Executive here. I'm noting that forums like this one are made possible thanks to generous support from individuals like all of you and great suggestions from people like John Panza. You can learn more about how to become a guardian of free speech at cityclub.org. We'd like to welcome students joining us today from Davis Aerospace and Maritime High School. Great to see you guys. Also, a special welcome to guests at tables hosted by Cleveland Rocks, Cuyahoga Community College, Glen Mead, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, and the Panza Foundation. Thank you all so much for being a part of this today. Next week at the City Club on November 21st, we'll be joined by leadership at IBM and the Cleveland Clinic to discuss the new quantum computer deployed there. That conversation will be moderated by WKYC's Betsy Kling. You can learn more about that event and everything else coming up at the City Club at cityclub.org. You can also find information on how to become a member there as well. Thank you so much for being a part of this forum today. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend and be sure to take in some live music. Thank you.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.
The ideas expressed in City Club forums are those of the speakers and not of the City Club of Cleveland, IdeaStream Public Media, or their sponsors. Production and distribution of City Club forums on IdeaStream Public Media are made possible by PNC and the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, Incorporated.